Hi there, welcome back. There's a lot in the news about self-driving vehicles these days. In this video, I'm going to go over the different levels of self-driving, why cars that are electric are a better utilization of the technology, and why it should eventually work. First, the different levels of self-driving. There are 5 levels of self-driving. Well, technically 6 if you include 0, which is no automation at all. That's just you driving your Ford F-150 to work. The human performs all driving tasks. Level 1 is called driver assistance. This is just one automated system. Many cars have that these days in the form of autonomous cruise control. The car will speed up and slow down based on the speed of traffic around you. Level 2 is partial automation. The vehicle can perform both steering and acceleration. However, the human must still monitor everything and be ready to take control at any time. The next 3 levels are when the system is supposed to be monitoring the environment, not just the human. Level 3 is conditional automation. This is when the vehicle can perform most driving tasks, but human override is still needed in edge cases. This is what Tesla currently has, and as far as I'm aware, is currently the best at. Level 4 is high automation. The vehicle can perform all tasks that a human required, but only within a certain area, as geofencing is required. This is what robot taxis are operating under. You can't take them on a road trip, but they can shuttle you around certain downtowns like in San Francisco or Phoenix, Arizona. Level 5 is what will be driving Tesla's value, if and when it cracks it, and what they have been struggling to do for the last 7 years. The vehicle performs all tasks under all conditions. 0 human attention is required. Tesla claims to be very close to this, and I hope that they are, but only time will tell. Now, on to why electric vehicles are a better utilization of this technology. So, imagine a world where you can open it'll probably be Tesla app on your phone, and summon a car to your house. This car can take you wherever you need to go. This may sound familiar to you. It's basically Uber without the driver. Since there is no driver in the car, there is no need for a steering wheel, nor a driver's seat. It will likely just be a cabin with 4 or more chairs facing each other. So the car takes you to your destination, and then it gets pinged for another traveler, and another, until the car is low on charge. It will then go to a charger, plug itself in, and be ready for work after a few hours. And it does this day in and day out. Now, most people who drive for Uber can tell you how much maintenance their car, which is typically only driven 5% of the time, suddenly takes after being driven 10 times as much. You have to get oil changes every month or every few. You have to replace all the myriad items 10 times as fast, and or they require upkeep 10 times as fast. Fuel is 10 times as expensive. You may need to replace a transmission after only a few years. Now, imagine a propulsion system that barely requires any maintenance, because there are so few moving parts. The brakes barely need to be replaced due to regenerative braking. Do you get what I'm saying? And go back to the concept of Uber. Where is most of the money for the fare going, as it should be? To the ape driving the car. So what if we take the ape out of the car? What happens to the price? It falls dramatically. And assuming Tesla, or some other company, owns the car, they have much less to pay in fuel and maintenance. And since the cars basically are never involved in accidents, what happens to insurance costs? They also go down. Owning a car for personal transport or for company transport becomes a thing of the past. This has profound impacts on the economy, especially if the profession of trucking suddenly disappears. Trucking is the most common job in 29 states. This is what Andrew Yang was talking about during his 2020 presidential run. And once Tesla solves self-driving with their AI, where else do you think it will be applied? But that's a topic for another video. I've already delved far too deep into this subject. My final topic for discussion is why this will eventually work. So, what are the drawbacks of having an ape driver car? First, they get distracted. This causes a substantial amount of accidents today. We've also all decided to run around with dopamine slot machines in our pockets, aka smartphones. The average time that people spend looking at their phone is 4 seconds. Now, think about how long 4 seconds is while you're driving, and then think about the fact that half the time, it's longer than that. Pedestrian deaths have been increasing since 2012, which is right around the time social media companies had to make their products addictive in order to increase the revenue. Correlation does not imply causation, but seriously, put your phone down while you're driving. You may save a life and or avoid an accident. Basically, all phones today have a setting wherein you won't receive notification while driving. You should use it. Moving right along. Second, humans drive drunk. That's also a significant cause of accidents and especially deaths on the road. The funny part is that everybody knows drunk driving is bad, but most don't realize you actually drive worse than a drunk driver if you're looking at your phone while driving. Again, put it down. Humans also get sleepy while driving. Industrialized society has forced a sleep debt epidemic on society. I wouldn't trade what we have for an agrarian society, but it is costing us lives when we drive. Robots are affected by none of these issues. They never get distracted or bored. They can't get drunk, and they don't get sleepy. Removing all of those from the road would make roads significantly safer. One of course could argue that humans should just not do those things, but there are a lot of things that people shouldn't do, but they do anyway because humans are really bad at risk assessment. They're afraid they're going to die in a plane crash while they text on their phone while driving. The second category of drawbacks for humans is that humans are slow. We have slow reaction times, at least compared to a computer. A computer can react in nanoseconds. We react in milliseconds. It's a completely different ballgame. Another reason EVs are better than gas cars for self-driving is that they accelerate better. So if you need to get out of a situation fast, the self-driving computer can not only react faster, but can get up to speed faster. There are many videos of Teslas avoiding getting rear-ended simply because they put their foot down and scooted out of harm's way faster than you can in a gas car. Finally, humans have two eyes that can only face one direction, and only have good information about whatever we're focusing on. You think that you have a sharp focus on everything within your field of view, but everything outside of what you're actively looking at is blurry. Your brain is providing the illusion that everything is sharp, much like it removes your nose from your vision and works around the blind spots that evolution gave us. Robots can look at everything around them all the time, and it's all in high resolution, and they can process it all essentially instantly. There's simply no competition. Now remember, self-driving doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than humans. And as I've just laid out, humans don't stand a chance. Teslas on self-driving beta are already safer than humans. Whenever a human, or as I've been saying, apes, that was using self-driving dies, usually because they weren't paying attention like they should, it's big news. The Washington Post recently pointed out that something like 127 people have died in self-driving Teslas over the years. What's never mentioned is that 40,000 people die every year on our roads in accidents driven by apes or humans. That's 315 times as many. And I didn't even do an apples-to-apples comparison because the 127 is over multiple years and 40,000 people are dying on our roads every year. Remember, we are very bad at risk assessment. Very bad. In conclusion, there was a recent bit of news in this area. Elon Musk recently live-streamed full self-driving on Twitter, or also known as X. There were a number of mistakes that were made by the computer, which caused many people to dismiss it. Unfortunately, they're missing the point, and I don't know if they miss it unintentionally or out of a desire to smear Musk. There are plenty of things to smear Musk about without using this. The point is that the car was driving on a new AI system instead of thousands of lines of code. That means you don't expect it to get everything right on the first try. AI gets better over time. It gets better exponentially, which is why people are afraid of it. So hopefully, this new AI will help us get us even closer to full self-driving cars, and auto accidents and fatalities can basically become a thing of the past. So on that happy note, I hope you've learned a few things about self-driving and why we'll almost certainly see it in the future. Happy charging and safe driving.